All right, good morning, folks. Today is Friday, April 8th. Welcome to First Things First, Simply Cyber's daily morning cybersecurity threat briefing. I'm your host, Gerald Ozier, and over the next 30 minutes, I'll be delivering the top cybersecurity news of the day and providing expert analysis on each of these stories. What it means to you as a practitioner, or if you're looking to break into the industry, everybody can benefit from First Things First. Shout out and thanks to this stream's sponsor, Barricade Cyber Solutions, your partner for incident response, ransomware protection, and business recovery. I want to remind you, if you hold professional certifications that require CPEs, each episode of First Things Worth is worth half a CPE, so 2.5 CPEs every week, 10 a month. Be sure to document literally the easiest and I would argue the most enjoyable way to earn CPEs. And if you don't know what CPEs are, just ask in chat. Someone will definitely be able to answer it. If you're live with us, love it. I see you guys all coming in. Love it. Absolutely love it. 8 a.m. Thanks for being here. If you're watching on replay, I genuinely appreciate you catching the stream and hope you can join us next time live. If you want to jump right to the news, when that ticker in the corner gets to the corner, or when it gets to the zero, when the ticker in the corner gets to zero, guys, I got to get some more coffee up in here. We will start the briefing. So feel free to scrub right to zero and dive in. But for the next 2 minutes and 38 seconds, I will be welcoming folks into stream. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Cybersecurity Central. What's up? Hold on, get this one lower third out. What's up, Cybersecurity Central? Representing strong up in here. I hope everybody's well, guys. I hope if you caught last night's Integer modern SOC workflow, I thought that was fantastic. I genuinely enjoyed it. Oh my God. All right, everybody drink. Genuinely too many neurons not firing at full oh my God, full capacity. LinkedIn user, if you're doing CPEs, like if you hold a CISSP, a SISM, a CISA, Security Plus might do this now. CompTIA, I don't know. I got mine before they started doing it, but oh, what's up, Brent Green? Good to see you, guys. So if you hold certifications, the cybersecurity certification bodies require you to stay up to date on techniques, current events, et cetera, and they call continuing professional education credits, and you have to do like 40 a year every 3 years, or 120 for a 3-year cycle, right? And it sucks to get them. A lot of times people wait until like the very last week and then they watch like a bunch of webinars they don't care about. But guess what? If you join us on First Things First, you get CPEs. So just go into whatever certification authority you have your cert with, and trust me, they will very strongly make you do your CPEs and tell you how to do that, because they also want you to pay your dues, which sucks. Yeah, Tom Pike, you gotta drink this coffee. Every time I flub a word, drink coffee. Yeah, Nathan Bolin, it very much might. Check to see if you require CPEs. Ula Chula, Randy Hamilton, Brent Curry, Kimberly, good to see you guys. Totally pumped to see Tom Pike back in the stream. Saw him last night on First Thing, Simply Cyber Live. Drink. Hey, Rob Dalton, good to see you. First Things First is a half a credit per day, 2.5 a week, or roughly 10 a month. And guys, if you have to do 40 a year, stick with us for a couple months. You'll be done. No big deal. No sweat. Love it. What's up, Southeast Missouri? I see you cracking me up. James Bryant, good morning. Happy Friday from Dallas. Big time Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas. I bet you the coffee cups are bigger. All right, we're at zero. Real quick, funny story about, bigger in Texas or big cups and stuff. I had to travel to New Zealand for work one time, and I'm a huge coffee drinker. Apparently, in other parts of the world, it may have been South America, I don't remember. In other parts of the world, coffee cups are like this big. So I had to order like a soup bowl of coffee in order to get the amount of coffee I wanted. The wait staff definitely looked at me like I was a American or whatever you want to call it, but whatever. I got my soup bowl of coffee and I was good to go. All right, guys, here's the deal. If you want to follow along, go to cisoseries.com. cisoseries.com is where we're getting our podcast, our headlines. David Spark and his group, they're always delivering the high heat. I had to do this once for myself. It was a lot of work. So On certain holidays, I'll probably have to do it again, but we'll see. All right, guys, sit back, relax. Let's get into the news.
From the CISO series, it's cybersecurity headlines.
It's Friday, April 8th, 2022. Newly discovered flaw could allow hacking of Samsung Android devices. Researchers from mobile cybersecurity firm CryptoWire have discovered a vulnerability that resides in a pre-installed phone app that executes with system privileges on Samsung devices. Tracked as CVE 2022-22292 in Android 9, 10, 11, and 12 devices, the vulnerability could give attackers the ability to initiate a factory reset that includes deleting all user as well as making phone calls, including to emergency numbers like 911, also installing or uninstalling apps, weakening HTTPS security by installing arbitrary root certificates, all from untracked apps running in the background and without end-user approval.
Yeah. Okay, so the interesting flaw, if you want to call it that, I mean, it's definitely a vulnerability, a weakness. It says it can be exploited on Android 9, 10, 11, 12 devices, Samsung devices only. Guys, you gotta remember, I've said this on the channel before, the Android operating system is great, and a lot of different vendors use it, and it, like, most often Android phones are more affordable than iPhones, which are basically the two kind of options in the market. And I saw an interesting statistic, like in the United States, like iPhones overwhelm Android devices, but everywhere else in the world, Android dominates over iPhone. So like Android has like a 85% global footprint over iPhone or something crazy like that. Anyways, these different vendors will apply their own kind of spin, or they don't exactly fork the Android operating system, but think of it like a fork. So there's different pieces that they control specifically. So the fact that they're calling out Samsung devices leads me to believe that this is some prepackaged built-in functionality that Samsung provides, which means Samsung's going to have the one who fixes it, even though it's an Android operating system issue. It says that it doesn't require end user engagement in order, or approval or consent in order to be exploited. They did give it a 7.8 or higher, and they gave it a 7.8 vulnerability score. And I think that's because there is an actual active exploit or proof of concept exploit out, but that doesn't mean that it won't come. Exploits are temporal. So this risk score or vulnerability score can go up. Long story short, if you are running a Samsung Android device, you definitely check out to see if this patch is available. They did not say that the patch was available as far as I heard, but that's usually the word patch is not being found. That's definitely the first thing that you want to do is like, okay, is there a patch for this? Let's find out. It doesn't even sound like you would know if your device is compromised, which is scary business. So long story short, patch your stuff and educate your end users to patch their stuff. And I would argue, unless you're, an investigative journalist, an executive level person, it's like someone who's going to get attacked by this, you're probably okay to patch it in a little bit. But if you are someone who's like high value target, like, Jeff Bezos, for example, or something like that, you definitely want to maybe switch phones for a little bit, or, you know what I mean? So just be careful about this.
Adobe Creative Cloud Experience makes malware easier to hide.
Uh-oh.
Experience is a service installed via the Creative Cloud installer for Windows that includes a Node.js executable that's usable as part of an attack chain. Security researcher Michael Taggart recently demonstrated that the Node.exe instance accompanying Adobe's service could be abused by writing a simple proof of concept JavaScript that spawns the Windows Calculator app and that can run any JavaScript it's pointed to. Security researchers commenting on Taggart's finding and demonstration said they had been under the impression that the bundled Node runtime would only execute files signed by Adobe, but evidently that's not the case.
Okay, so little egg on Adobe's face. As they said in the story, basically this cloud experience allows Adobe to be able to run programs or invoke JavaScript, basically using this Node.exe binary. So think of it as like you're giving Adobe authority to kind of make your user experience better by allowing it to kind of mod some of your apps for you. Unfortunately, as the researchers pointed out and the story covered, they should only be able to run Adobe signed or cryptographically signed code made by Adobe, which is how you would basically validate the integrity that it came from Adobe. I don't know if Adobe was trying to get cute and thinking that they'd be able to hook in through APIs or hook in and be able to launch other apps for you, but that's not good. Obviously, they said that you can use it to launch malware effectively. I mean, basically, it's a it's a launcher for JavaScript, right? So if you put malicious JavaScript somewhere, you can use this to launch it. So I would imagine that this would get fixed now that this is like in public sphere. So no big deal on that.
Malicious Parrot redirects and infects 16,000 sites to push malware. A new traffic direction system, TDS, called Parrot, is relying on servers that host 16,500 websites of universities, local governments, adult content platforms, and personal blogs in order to redirect potential victims matching a specific profile, including location, language, operating system, and browser, over to online resources such as phishing and malware dropping sites. The Parrot TDS was discovered by threat analysts at Avast, who report that it's currently used for a campaign called Fake Update, which delivers remote access Trojans via fake browser update notices. As Avast details in its report, the particular campaign's user profile and filtering are so fine-tuned that the malicious actors can target a specific person from thousands of redirected users. Most of the users targeted by these redirections are in Brazil, India, the United States, Singapore, and Indonesia.
Okay. All right. So there's this, to me, this story seemed a little complicated at first, but it's pretty straightforward. Okay. So here's the idea, guys. First off, let's talk about what is actually going on in a proper way. When we visit sites, we're always like, oh, no big deal about privacy. No big deal about privacy. Well, here's the thing. Everything is being kind of tracked and monitored, what sites you go to, how long you spend on it, what keywords you're typing, everything, right? And this is part of the problem people have with invasion of privacy. It's being wrapped as, we're giving you a better user experience. We're only giving you ads that you like. We're only telling you about upcoming shows. Like when you go into Netflix or something like that, it's like, check out these other shows. It's based on your experience of what you've watched. Same with YouTube, right? You probably get a lot of cybersecurity videos in your YouTube stream. Okay, so that is what that is for. Now, how can it be abused? Well, threat actors can purchase the right to have traffic redirections, right? So have people's user experiences on the web through Chrome or whatever get directed. Now, the idea is that they would get directed to, or pop-up comes up, or a new tab launches for Levi's jeans because you're searching for a spring look. By the way, apparently wedgie jeans and mom pants are coming back. I found out the other day. What is that all about? I digress. So threat actors can buy these redirection services and just redirect you to a malicious landing page, which, by the way, this is where it gets social engineering-ish. They're not going to tell you, hey, install this malware. This is literally a landing page. You're using an old version of Chrome. You need to update. I am telling you all the time to update your stuff. So you're like, yes, I'm going to do exactly what we've been talking about. Let's update this Chrome and install your updating malware into your device. Bad business. The URL would indicate it, but why would you think that? You're being delivered this. I'm not 100% sure if this is exactly the same, but whenever you see those tech support scam pop-ups, your computer's infected, malware, call this 800 number to talk to a Microsoft employee who can clean your computer. I'm not exactly sure, but I could see this technique being executed to achieve the same outcome as that. So, to put it kind of in your head, that's what I'm seeing here. It sucks. We've also seen, this is another one you can put in your back pocket and whip out at an interview. We've also seen threat actors spend tens of thousands of dollars on Google ads and to make their URL show up at the top. So they create a piece of malware called zoom.exe, and then they spend $10, $20, $30, $40,000 to be the top result when you Google Zoom client. The real Zoom client is right below it. The top one says Zoom, and then it says sponsored or whatever that ad thing is. And a lot of users don't look. They Google, they click the first thing, and they're literally walking into a bear trap. So we've seen this before. It sucks. That threat actors, again, hat tip to threat actors. You guys, so creative, so innovative. Stop, just do it for good things instead, though. Jeez.
New FF Droider malware steals Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter accounts. This new information stealer steals credentials and cookies stored in browsers to hijack victims' social media accounts. Researchers at Zscaler have been tracking its spread and published a detailed technical analysis yesterday based on recent samples. FF Droider is spread through software cracks, free software, games, and other files downloaded from torrent sites. When installing these downloads, FF Droider will also be installed but will be disguised as the Telegram desktop app to avoid detection. Once launched, the malware will create a Windows registry key called FF Droider, which is where it got its name.
Oh, kind of interesting. With a name like FF Droider, I assumed it was going to be Android malware, but this is targeting Windows machines. Okay, here's the deal. It's being distributed through torrent sites. Torrent sites allow people to host files in a peer-to-peer network sharing model. You have no clue what you're buying. It's like buying something off the back of a truck, like in a parking lot or in a dark alley, right? There's no warranties, there's no assurances, there's no receipt, there's no returns. So people will download this stuff, and it's straight up the same thing I just said about the Zoom one. People will download it and they'll think it's the new Spider-Man No Way Home cracked version of the movie. I'm not paying for it. I'm just going to watch it. And instead, you're just installing malware that's going to steal all of your social media credentials, right? This is one of these things where there's various options, right? You can lock the user out, try to sell it back to them as an individual. If they're a high value account, you could steal it and sell it to someone else, right? So like think of @Brent on Twitter. That might be a very valuable OG kind of account. You could accidentally find, I don't know why you would nail like Elon Musk's account or something. I don't know why he'd be going to torrent sites, but you could get a high value target like that and then, basically spam out from their account to get Bitcoin money or something like that. Maybe you get like the secretary of some VIP, right? So there's multiple use cases. The idea is that this is where it's at. What I would say with this one is, make sure that this FF Droider isn't on your machine. Like it says, it will connect with a C2 server. So obviously for your environment, SIMs should be looking for that. Your DNS filtering should be, basically being updated in real time by some external threat source like Cloudflare or Palo Alto or something like that to not go to those sites. And the final thing I would say is educate not just your end users, but let's be real here for a second. Educate your kids, right? If you have kids, I would say like 10 to really 22, or if you in chat right now are between 10 and 22, like a lot of times younger people don't have access to money in order to buy stuff. Oh, I want the new Fortnite, or they'll get told, hey, like download this and you get 50 free Fortnite skins, or you want Minecraft coins, you want Roblox or Robux, do this. It's a hack. You can put this on and you can shoot without aiming, right? Whatever it is. And they don't have access to resources, but they do have access to computers and they can go to these sites. And I did it when I was a kid. I teach at the Citadel. The students tell me when I ask them about this, they all did it, right? You probably did it yourself when you were younger. So think about that for a second. This right here, this is how that's going to happen. People going to those sites. You got to think of what's the motivation. Why would people go to these sites? Why? Because they're being offered something really enticing, or they don't have money to buy it through the right way. And this is a shortcut, a way to get what they want in a way that they can afford. So be mindful of that. You could have FF Droider on your own system. And then, younger kids use a lot of social media. So that could be even more devastating for them.
And now a word from our beta exposure and shows which activities require security intervention.
Should have had 3 cups
You
of
can
coffee
learn
today.
more at code42.com/show me.
That's not enough.
That's code42.com/
Might have to put everything on pause and go get another cup of coffee. This is out of control over here.
Israeli officials catfished by bearded Barbie. Arid Viper, also known as APT-C23, is a politically driven APT group active in the Middle East. In the past, it has conducted spear-phishing attacks against Palestinian law enforcement, military, and educational establishments, as well as the Israel Security Agency, ISA. In February, Cisco Talos researchers uncovered Arid Viper attacks against activists associated with the Israel-Palestine conflict. On Thursday, Cybereason's Nocturnus research team published new findings on the APT's latest activities. Dubbed Operation Bearded Barbie, the latest campaign targets carefully chosen Israeli individuals to compromise their PCs and mobile devices, spy on their activities, and steal sensitive data. The researchers say the APT C-23 group, alongside mole rats, are subset APTs of the Hamas Cyber Warfare Division and are working to benefit the Palestinian political group.
Wow. Okay, so this right here, you may want to either bookmark this one or review it or whatever. But this right here is an excellent case study in kind of APT level behavior. There is a very clear geopolitical initiative. Interesting too, like it's Israeli versus Palestine, but the threat actor in this is not Israel or Palestine, but aiding one of them, probably for their own benefit and needs. They're using a mixture of technical attack paired with social engineering attack with the catfishing. Guys, it's easier to hack the human than it is to hack a computer. With a lot of the technology and securities that we have nowadays, if you can get the user to do something on your behalf, it's much more likely to be successful, and then you can establish persistence. In this instance, they said, obviously they're catfishing, so they're appealing to, love, if you will, of key Israeli individuals. So they're definitely doing recon, grooming, very, very specific targeting, knowing who is single or who would be interested in a romantic relationship and want to basically give up government secrets. Well, actually, let me back up from that. Based on what I read on this, they're not trying to convince someone to give up government secrets in kind of a secret agent espionage way. They're convincing them to install software. The software takes over as the technical part where it's looking for things. Specifically in this, it said Microsoft Office documents and PDFs. So you could install it and say, oh, like here's a new messaging app that I want to use in order to send you nudes or pics or whatever, because I think it's secure. Install this, and then there it goes. So I think that this is a really, really excellent, tightly packaged not one-off, but it's the complete use case on APT level threat actors that you could share this with anyone and they can wrap their head around it, because people can understand what catfishing is and how anyone could be susceptible to it.
Zoom awards $1.8 million in bug bounty rewards in 2021. Zoom awarded this amount to researchers who submitted bug bounty reports in that year. Recent updates to the program include extending the bug bounty reward range on offer with up to $50,000 per report for the most severe vulnerabilities and $250 for low-hanging fruit. The company also launched a public vulnerability disclosure program and a VIP bug bounty program for licensed software. They attribute the increase in payments to the explosion of the usage of Zoom by work-from-home employees paired with a shortage of available talent to hire in-house. Suspected.
Yep. Okay, so this is cool. First of all, Zoom, way to go, Zoom, for getting behind and being real about wanting to make your product more secure. You guys remember right at 2021, the launch of COVID, work from home, Zoom exploded. Go back and look at the stock value of Zoom, like look at it in January 2021, and then look at it in April 2021. It looks like, it went 6 to midnight, if you know what I mean. So good for them for wanting to make their product more secure. They had a lot of problems right out the gate, if you recall. And I actually had a conversation with Dr. Ross Anderson. Like I said before, on the channel, there's going to be 3 videos coming out. One has already been released. And it's with Dr. Ross Anderson from Cambridge, where we talk about some different things. And we talk about how when a product explodes like this, they obviously don't have the talent or the manpower, frankly, to do their security research on the tool that it warrants, because they need to get it to market, right? You can't just keep working through software development to secure and never sell the product, right? So you got to get it out there. And then when there's an explosion of end users, then more kind of risks come out, more vulnerabilities, more shortcomings. So the bug bounty program, I'm absolutely a fan of that. It is a mechanism to give businesses scaled security research and SDLC in a way that makes sense. So good for them. You know, the last thing I'll say about Zoom is it's too bad that they can't open a bug bounty program on how to compete with Microsoft, because Microsoft Teams is competitor to Zoom, and Zoom is a far better product in my opinion. But Microsoft Teams comes bundled with Microsoft Office 365. I've talked about this on the channel before. Unfortunately, I think Zoom's going to slowly lose market share as more and more businesses move into Azure, and effectively CFOs are like, why am I paying for Zoom? I already pay for Teams.
Chinese hackers are targeting India's power grid. According to a report by Recorded Future, researchers have observed likely network intrusions of at least 7 state centers that carry out real-time grid control and electricity dispatch. The researchers state that this was the work of hackers, quote, likely affiliated with the Chinese government, end quote. Although they weren't able to pinpoint the initial vector for how the malware got into the networks, they believe hackers likely gained access to the dispatch centers by compromising internet-facing camera devices and using them as command and control centers.
Okay. I mean, it says North India. I'm pretty sure North India borders China. I hate to sound like an ignorant American, but I think it's around there. So I don't know. I'm unaware. This is going to sound really ignorant. Chat, let me know. Like, I was unaware that China and India had conflict going on. So if China was targeting in northern India's power grid for some reason, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, right? In 2022, critical infrastructure is a well understood concept. Nation states require critical infrastructure to operate, especially at a first world power kind of level. But because of OT and industrial control systems, a lot of this technology is old, didn't really have security built in. OT and IT are getting connected. So this isn't groundbreaking. What's interesting to me is that China's targeting India. Again, I'll go back and look at chat. I'll probably Google it because I should understand why they're doing that. But very, very interesting. Nothing too crazy. It's, another day, another, critical infrastructure being targeted. Energy is kind of important, obviously, but it's kind of out of control how insecure it is. Also, really quick, I want to take a second to talk about chat for a minute. I saw a couple things. One, Josh Mason prefers Teams. That's fine. Probably a heavy Windows user. That's cool. Second, Christopher Word said, why not hire people and do your own internal security research? It's about time. Like, if you can hire, like, first of all, getting full-time employment, getting that funded by the CFO and by the COO is usually hard. Maybe you ask for 3, you get 1, and you're definitely not going to have someone just dedicated to looking for bugs. The value that, let's say you got all 3, the value that 3 people can get you for a guaranteed sunk cost of, say, $300,000, you're going to give these 3 analysts $100,000 each, right? That's $300,000. Or you could open a bug bounty program where you only pay if someone finds something valid, and you instantly get a workforce of, like, let's say 20,000 people, and you're never going to pay more than X amount of dollars, right? So 20,000 people and you paid out $1.8 million or $3 million, right? Like, your cost per FTE is in like the pennies, right? So follow the money, right? That's why businesses are totally into that.
Amazon secures rockets for broadband project. Over the next 5 years, 3 new heavy-lift rockets will put thousands of satellites into low Earth orbit as part of Amazon's Project Kuiper. The project aims to provide broadband connections using a constellation of 3,236 satellites. Rival Starlink is said to have more than 2,300 satellites in orbit already. The rockets will be made by Arianespace Blue Origin, which was founded by Amazon owner Jeff Bezos, as well as United Launch Alliance. Amazon says Project Kuiper aims to provide high-speed, low-latency broadband to customers including households, businesses, government agencies, disaster relief operations, mobile operators, and other organizations working in places without reliable internet connectivity. Like Elon Musk's Starlink, users will connect to the internet via a terminal that communicates with the satellites. Amazon says its experience in shipping and making products like Echo and Kindle will be useful in producing and distributing these.
All right. So a couple things for a second. Just a LOL for Friday. I thought maybe they were going to be delivering via rocket now to really get it there, like next minute delivery. Okay. So check this out. On its surface, I do like the idea that these. Okay, guys, let's call it what it is for a second. Okay. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, they are the 21st century barons. That's what they are. Think about it, right? It was, Vanderbilt, Rockefeller, Carnegie, Carnegie, like at the turn of the 19th or 20th century, right? Oil, steel, energy, right? They were the barons. And then antitrust laws came out, everything got busted, and then we didn't have barons. Well, those antitrust laws got rolled back in the 80s, and now we have big tech barons, right? These guys have like so much ridiculous money that, listen, I appreciate that they're trying to do public good, right? They're obviously probably going to make a little bit of money off this, but it sounds like a very righteous mission. We're going to try to get reliable internet to everyone all over the world, including locations that don't have access to internet. Couple things. Okay, so that's righteous. What, like, two things I want to point out. One, obviously Comcast, Verizon, AT&T, the people who provide internet service to home users, they can't like this, right? Obviously, I mean, it's direct competitor. It's probably going to be cheaper. I don't know what the bandwidth speeds are going to be, so it's going to take them a while to get to that. But the interesting for me, the buried story here is that Jeff Bezos is one of, he's, as far as I know, he's the second wealthiest person in the world, second only to Elon Musk. Elon Musk started a rocket company, right? So Jeff Bezos starts a rocket company, and then Elon Musk chirps him with a second place medal emoji. Elon Musk launches Starlink. Now we've got Project Cupper, whatever this is, right? So even though Jeff Bezos can buy anything in the world he wants, and he is wildly successful, Elon Musk he can't buy being number one, right? So it's just funny how whatever Tesla or Elon Musk, whatever they're doing, like Jeff Bezos and Amazon tries to do too. I just find it a funny, interesting, maybe I'm speculating, human thing about Jeff Bezos and his relationship with Elon Musk. Very, very interesting. Okay, so what do we got here?
Remember, before you log off.
That's that. So let's do this, and let's do this. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's first things first. Before you go, hit the thumbs up. I never ask for the thumbs up, but I'm curious. Let's see how it works. There's 84 of us in here today. Hit that thumbs up. Let me see what's up. Unless you're on LinkedIn, then come over to YouTube and hit the thumbs up. You feel me? Guys, if you're here later today, I'm launching a brand new show. Going to try it out and see what's up. It's called What's on Your Radar. It's a 30-minute show, very high pace, very fast action, with 3 senior practitioners in the space, probably, 50, 60 years worth of combined experience. What's something on our radar? What's something that picked up this week that we're digging into and we're very, very interested in? I'm kind of flip-flopping between the reality of vendor lock-in and how the Secretary of State just consolidated 3 different departments into this new cybersecurity and diplomatic policy agency that we talked about on Monday, right? It sounds a little dry, but I kind of dug in, and I think it's kind of curious and interesting. So that's just a little teaser. Hopefully you can come over. It will be on Simply Cyber's channels. It's also going to be restreamed to Josh Mason's channels. It'll be on LinkedIn, all that stuff. So if you're interested in seeing what it looks like when you launch a new show and have all sorts of difficulties and challenges, but you want to learn a little bit about some cyber stuff, come on over. Steve Gardner's going to be with us too. The third seat will be rotating week to week, so it'll always be a different person. Guys, thanks so much. I look forward to going back to chat and looking at the comments as most as I can. We did it. Great work today. Great work this week. We're going to have a good weekend after What's on Your Radar at 4 o'clock. Be good, guys. Enjoy your Friday. Enjoy your weekend. We will talk Monday at 8 a.m. Goodbye.